Hello again, 5th grade students. This week's drawing is another one where we're going to use pencil shading. Here's what my finished picture looks like. As you can see, just in pencil again, and using different techniques for shading and mark making. And also, as I'm going to explain in just a moment, using an eraser kind of like a pencil. Alright, so I'll explain all of that once we get into it. So let's get started right now. So we're ready to start. To begin with, I'm going to place some spare sheets of paper underneath this one. If you're working in a notebook, obviously you don't need to do that. You've already got lots of paper underneath. The reason for that is because I want it to be a little bit softer underneath this paper. What we're going to do to begin with is to just create like a big grey rectangle using the pencil like I'm showing you now. Not holding it in the normal way, but completely different. Holding the end of the pencil and trying to get the end of the pencil flat against the paper. And you'll need to make sure your pencil is sharp. So you've got the biggest possible area of pencil showing. Alright, so we're not using the point, we're using the side of the pencil. And we've got paper underneath to make it a little bit softer, and so that any bumps on the table don't show through. Okay, so this is what we want to create. A large grey rectangle. So try not to press too hard. Try and go backwards and forwards in big lines, like this. Get that angle right. See, it took me a little while to get the angle right there, didn't it? There, now I've got it. This is what we want, okay? See how I'm holding the pencil? I'm going backwards and forwards in diagonal lines, and I'm using my whole arm moving up and down, backwards and forwards, trying to keep that angle right so I get those big lines, fat lines. See what I mean? Like that's a fat line, not like this, not scratchy lines, but fat lines. It doesn't matter if you don't get it right straight away. Like here, there's scratchy lines here and there. It doesn't matter. Really, it's just about changing the angle of the pencil, finding the right place for it. Alright. The next stage is probably the stage that you've never done before, which is using the eraser as if it was a pencil. As if this eraser is going to make is like a white pencil that's we're going to make lines, we're going to draw lines with the eraser. Let me just start by erasing these little lines up the top here. Okay, so let's just try that coming down, and it's going to be more or less straight, but it doesn't matter if it wiggles a little bit. Alright, okay, there's the first one. Let's try another one. There it is again. So next we're going to carry on with the eraser. The next thing is to shape out these sections a little bit more so they start looking more like bodies. So of course we're going to start with the heads at the top. So I'm going to use the eraser to make some head shapes. and then like a thin neck, shoulders coming down for the body, and then the legs at the bottom. Okay, so there's my first one. Let's see how that looks. Good. The next one. What about if we had quite a square head for this one? Just for fun. Oh, I've got quite a pointy shoulder. I like that. I think I'm gonna keep that. So here are my basic body shapes, and the final stage. Oh, I need to erase a little bit more there. The final stage then is going over again with the pencil and adding some darker tones on top of these lighter ones, and sometimes in places adding some outlines and lines on top. Okay, so let's start with up here. This first body, this person is looking this way. So we're going to see the side of their head, which means we're going to see some hair here. So I'm going to just try and draw the shape of that hair using the pencil, the point of the pencil now, and doing lines in the opposite direction. I think that looks really good. So the opposite direction to what we did before. So there's a little space for the ear, and there's the hair on that side of the body. Next one, this kind of weird shaped head and the pointy shoulder. This one is going to be looking forwards. So let's put some hair at the top. See how I'm using the shape of the kind of erasing lines and the pencil. I'm using that shape to make the hair here. I think that's kind of a cool thing to do. Let's put a line there for that pointy shoulder. And this arm's coming down in front. And this is a female body wearing a long skirt. And again, with this one, I was looking at that shape and it just sort of looked like a ghost body. So that's what I made it into. So, I hope that you could see as I was drawing the way that I was using the shapes of the bodies that I kind of made a little bit randomly with the eraser, right? And then I look at those shapes and I try and make them into what they look like. So this one looked like a ghost, and this one had this kind of sticking out chin, and this one I did with two legs and ended up with a very kind of simple body. This one looks like she's wearing a mask, doesn't she? So why not just add that in? Some of them have eyes and mouths, and some of them don't. Some of them have outlines all the way around, and some of them don't. Like this one didn't have an outline all the way around. That's up to you how you do that. You can change your mind as well afterwards. Like this one, I think let's add some eyes into this one. Mouth too. You can have big wide eyes and mouths, or just little dots for eyes and mouths. Your faces can be looking straight out of the picture, or they could be looking sideways. Your hands can have fingers, or they can just be kind of just big shapes where the hands would be. Or they could be like this one with the thumb, only the thumb divided. Or they could have no arms and hands at all, like this one. The point of the drawing is, like I say, to use the eraser like kind of randomly and see what shapes appear and see what things you can create with those shapes. And as always, have fun making these pictures, and of course share them with me when they're ready, when they're finished. Can't wait to see them.